The New Testament shows that Jesus' disciples proclaimed they had seen Jesus risen from the dead. But some people believe that the disciples simply made up Jesus' resurrection. And fair enough, it's definitely a bold claim. However, there are a few good reasons why the disciples would not have fabricated a story about Jesus' resurrection. First, they began proclaiming the resurrection in Jerusalem, the same city where Jesus was crucified and buried. If the disciples invented the resurrection, opponents simply needed to dig up Jesus' body to silence them. Now to this you might ask, well, what if the disciples stole Jesus' body? This seems unlikely because aside from John, all of the apostles were killed for their belief in Jesus' resurrection. And most of the earliest Christians suffered terribly for declaring that Jesus was alive. Sure, people will die for their beliefs, but no one dies for a belief they know is a lie. And certainly not en masse. Also, it's unlikely that the disciples just made up Jesus' resurrection because they shared details that would embarrass and discredit them. In the Gospels, the apostles often appear clueless to Jesus' teaching and mission, and were portrayed as cowards. And women were recorded as the first witnesses to Jesus' resurrection, at a time and place in history where a woman's testimony wasn't acceptable. Why include these details if you're trying to convince others of your made-up story? For these reasons, the best explanation for what the disciples experienced seems to be that they really did encounter Jesus risen from the dead. Besides this, there is still more evidence for Jesus' resurrection from the dead, so subscribe to our channel so you can know when our next video in this series comes out.